Hello, friends, and welcome to the Homewrecker podcast. It's a place, a show, a thing, podcast. I said that, right? Well, here we like to just talk about stuff.
Stuff.
Yeah, stuff. We like to take conventional wisdom and conventional ways of thinking, and we just like to just piss all over it, right? That's what we do.
At times.
And we like to take these subjects and conventional wisdom and we like to bring alternative viewpoints and alternative perspectives to these things,
That we do.
not only in an attempt to change the thoughts and feelings of people who are listening or who maybe subscribe to these conventional ways of thinking, but we also like to obliterate them completely.
Bang, bang.
I'm your host, one of them, the Golden Greek Alex Arion, joined as always by my beautiful, lovely, gorgeous, amazing wife, Monique.
You remembered my name this time.
I did, because was it last week that I did not?
You did not.
Well, it's not that I forgot your name. I just forgot to say it.
Yes.
So this week, we're just going to kind of have a conversation.
Yeah, there's a few things I wanted to talk
about whatever comes up. Not going to be any kind of a format or anything today, like we've been doing recently. And if you're watching, you can see this is the kind of mood we're in tonight. I have a braided beard, and the braid is a little bit, as you laugh, it's a bit crooked. It's a bit not centered. I didn't do this because I don't know how to braid or do any of that kind of stuff. So Monique said, "You want me to braid your beard?" I said, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
Never and if you subscribe to Supercast for us, I'm going to put it up. I'm going to put up me braiding the whole conversation, me braiding his beard. I'm going to put that on Supercast.
Because for some reason, the camera was on and recording it.
It turns on automatically.
So, yeah, as you could see, Monique said, "Well, if you don't like it, just take it out." I'm like, "No, you know what? We'll just leave it. It's fine."
It is fine.
That's what she said. Okay, well, thanks. So, yeah. So that's where we're at. Yeah. That's the kind of mood we're in. We're just going to kind of have a chat and talk about different stuff.
There was some stuff that came up that I wanted to talk about.
What?
You make it sound like we're agendaless. There's an agenda. There's always an agenda.
I don't have an agenda.
No, I
am agendaless today.
Well, something weird came up and I wanted to talk about it.
Oh, okay. So, well, what was so weird that came? I mean, weird stuff happens all the time if you're looking and open to it. I guess you could say weird, but what's the weird thing that you want to talk about?
Okay, so last week, the second half of our show, we talked about that strange horn sound.
Yes, that's right.
And one of the things we mentioned was Seabrook Nuclear Power Plant and how I questioned, could it be one of their like test sirens? It seemed weird that we would be able to hear it from here because it's 45 minutes away.
Yeah, and I think it's like almost 40 miles as well. No, I'm sorry. I think it's longer than that. Further than that, I should say. But anyway, yes.
Well, so our show comes out on Wednesday. And then Thursday, I'm on Twitter and I see that Seabrook posts a tweet that they're going to be having a test of the alarm system. So if there was something that happened, it's just testing the system. And I thought that was so bizarre. Like the timing was so weird.
I don't know about bizarre, the timing being bizarre, but it's just weird timing. I don't know about it being bizarre though.
Well, it's just, it's weird timing because, and I'm not implying that like they're listening to us.
They're all listening to us.
No, I'm not implying that. I'm just saying it's really weird that we talked about it, it airs, and the next day I see a post about them doing this test. So I did two things. I looked up, when was the last time they posted they were doing a test of the alarm of the siren?
Right.
I went back 2 years and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a little
So
weird.
if it was like every 3 months, every year, something, I could be like, oh, okay, it's just time to do it. But there was no post about it for 2 years. So then I looked around on social media because I wanted to hear the siren and I thought maybe they'll post something of what it sounds like.
Sure.
Well, I found somebody opened their door and they could hear it
Okay.
and they recorded it. So I got to listen to the sound of that alarm and it sounded nothing like what we've heard. And it sounded nothing like the other videos that have the audio of those horn sounds. And it sounded nothing like that. So I just wanted to point that out because I thought it was weird.
Now I wonder, not being a scientist or audio expert or anything like that, not obviously not having any equipment or a recording of the thing when it happened and when we heard it, but I wonder if perhaps that day they were doing some kind of a test and maybe the sound can, in the right conditions, can travel that far, and maybe that's what we did here, but because of the distance and the delay in time and
Totally
everything,
different
I'm
sound.
just saying, could it is it
And the
possible
structure of the sound was
is it
different.
possible it could have been distorted and broken up because it had to travel such a distance, if that's what we heard?
I don't know. I've been doing some research. So when we do a show on this, I'm gonna put out everything I found.
I'm just saying, because obviously I'm open to any possibility because I don't know what it was, but I don't want to rule things out that could be something
I
like
don't
that.
want to
That's all.
I want to look at every single possibility,
Yeah,
which is
same here.
why if you're hearing or watching this, if you happen to hear us right now and you've experienced strange horn sounds coming from the sky that are unexplainable, let us know because I'm trying to get as much information as possible as to where it's happening, when it's happening, what it sounds like, how long it goes for, where you're located, because are there any nuclear power plants? Like, are there any Air Force or Army or military bases? There's all these different criteria that I'm trying to put together and figure out to figure out what it could
I'm
be. I
trying
want
to
to look,
figure out what is
yeah,
this
I
or
want to try to look at every single possibility.
the thing though that I cannot explain is the pressure change.
The pressure
The
change,
pressure change is unexplainable, and the fact that all the other surrounding noise
silent.
went out.
The
So that
sound of the
that's
rain hitting the house stopped.
yeah, it was very strange.
I'm looking into that too.
Very strange. So that I can't explain. Again, it could be a very simple explanation. It could be something that we maybe have not thought of, or something that we just don't know about yet.
And if you
And who
think you
knows?
know, tell us,
Yeah,
share it with
yeah.
us.
I'd like to hear if anybody else has had a similar experience. And again, we're in New Hampshire in the United States, so anybody from around the world, because we have people that listen to us.
Oh, yeah, all over
I still find it crazy, but there are people all over the world
England, Germany,
that
Switzerland.
we don't have to do the list, but yeah, I find it very interesting and pretty cool. But yeah, if you guys hear it anywhere else, reach out to us, let us know, drop a comment on YouTube, go to the website, drop us
Yeah.
an email, social media, whatever the case may be. But yeah, reach out to us in some way or another. And hey, if you get an interesting enough story, maybe we'll have you on to talk about it for the detail.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool. So yeah, that's
I just
pretty
thought it was
interesting
really
timing.
weird.
Yeah, it's like I said to you the day when you told me about it. I said, well, okay, I don't really believe in coincidences. I think that's kind of BS, and I think that's something people use. It's a cop out. It's either uh, how did I phrase it to you? Like the Matrix is acknowledging us in some weird way,
Yeah.
or it's wacky timing, or they're listening to us, and this is their way of acknowledging that we're listening, if it's them, if that's what we heard,
If that's the
or
case, give us
all of
another
the
sign to
above,
show us
or
you're
none of the
listening.
above. It's just, well, who knows? So who knows? It's
I
just
don't know.
very strange, very interesting. Yeah. What
Mhm.
else? What else you got? What other agenda topic did you bring today to
So,
discuss?
again, going to social media, I was on Twitter and I saw Jason Bateman was trending. And I thought, anytime a celebrity is trending, I look to see if they died.
Can I
'Cause
ask real, I don't want to go off the topic, but what is trending
I think
exactly?
because
How
a
does
lot of
that work?
so many
Do
people
you know?
post about a name or a word and it becomes trending or a
And how do
thing
you know what's trending? Because I have a
because
Twitter. I've gone on Twitter. I
it's
haven't in a while,
on
but
the side.
I don't you look at it on the computer or
Yeah,
on your
on the
phone?
computer.
See, I only look at it on my phone when I do, and it's very infrequent.
On the computer, it's right there on the right
So
hand
I
side.
don't know what's trending or any. I don't know how you find that. I just have a thing. I have a what's it called, the timeline. The people that I follow, I scroll through, and
You
that's
gotta
it.
like go in another like window kind of thing.
I think I had to have
tab
you
on the
show me
bottom.
how to write a tweet on there recently because of some update, whenever this was, like months ago. Like, how do you do a tweet? What happened? I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, that's how often I use it because whatever. Go ahead. Carry on.
So anytime a celebrity or somebody, a person is trending, I'm like, oh, did they die? Let me see.
That would
And
probably be my first thought too, sadly.
just
But
curious. Not that I really care. I was just like, huh,
it's just funny that that's where the mind goes right away, just because it just
why is
that's
everyone talking about you?
sure. Yeah.
And so apparently he was trending because Rick Schroder, known as
The Silver Spoons kid,
yeah,
right?
Ricky Schroder from Silver Spoons. He was in like NYPD Blue, I think. He was in a
I
few
don't know.
episodes of Scrubs. Anyway, he was a childhood actor, became an adult actor,
He's an
and
actor.
yeah, but he
Okay.
was like a kid actor. And I
Okay.
guess on Silver Spoons, Jason Bateman was on that show for a bit.
Wasn't he on Family Ties too?
Yes.
Okay.
But when he was, I think, younger than when he, no, well, no, his sister was on Family Ties. So maybe he was on it too. I never really watched that show. But so basically, Ricky Schroder posted a video talking about the Canadian Freedom Rally, the trucker Freedom Rally, and how we need to do it
Wait,
here.
Ricky Schroder posted the video, or
Yes,
or the other
yeah.
guy?
Rick Schroder posted the video
Oh,
talking about
so he's
how,
not Ricky anymore.
well, I don't know.
I just want to make sure I'm getting it
So
right.
he's talking about the Freedom Rally and how we need to do that here and go to Washington and have that happen here. Because from what I've gathered, he's like very pro freedom, which everyone should be pro freedom.
Okay.
But so people went to Twitter and kept comparing him to Jason Bateman. They brought up, a few people brought up something like Ricky Schroder was so insecure and jealous of Jason Bateman on Silver Spoons that he had him kicked off the show. And then it's like, but look at Jason Bateman now. He's successful. He's in all these
Hold on a
successful
second.
movies.
Wait a second. Rick Schroder. Rick?
I don't know, Rick.
Anyway, he had hit Jason Bateman kicked off of
Silver Spoons,
is
allegedly.
is that a true thing? Is
I
that
don't
like a real
know,
thing?
but this is what people were saying. And I'm like, I don't know if that's true or
So these
not.
are just random people saying this.
Yes.
Okay, so it could be just whatever.
Bullshit.
Like nobody. Okay. All
I
right.
don't know.
Okay. I just want to make sure I know where the information
People
is
are
coming
just
from.
saying it
Okay.
to make him look like a douchebag. And they're comparing him. Now, the video of Rick Schroder, he's on his ranch. He has, I want to say it's like a 1,500 acre ranch or something. And he's scruffy looking, like looks like he's been doing work outside.
Okay.
And they're making fun of him. Oh, so many people on Twitter were comparing him to Jason Bateman and saying that Jason Bateman, look how successful he is. He's still in all these movies. And look at you. You're all like raggedy looking and you're on a farm. And it just,
So wait, is the comparison the looks of them,
it's
or
basically
I
implying
guess I'm
that
not
Rick
really sure.
Schroder is not successful and Jason Bateman is.
But what's success?
Exactly. That's my point. If
What's
you fucking close your mouth and let me get there, please. I love you.
I'm gonna mute myself now.
I saw that. He's zipping his lip. I saw that and it kind of blew my mind because I thought, who are these people to judge somebody's success? So to be successful, you have to always, if you're an actor, you have to continue acting your entire life and you can't do anything else. That's right. Keep yourself muted. Okay, now you can unmute. Go on. No, it's just where do these people think you can't be successful because you want to like farm?
Okay, so the debate going. Wait, he was trending because Jason Bateman
Was trending
was
because
trending.
people were comparing him to Rick Schroder.
So if Jason Bateman is trending, shouldn't Rick Schroder be trending too?
But I didn't. I mean, he wasn't showing up on the sidebar. Just
I'm just
saying.
trying to make sure I've got this right. That's all. So the debate was
People were shit
he was
talking
more Jason Bateman is more successful
than
than
Rick Schroder.
Rick Schroder because Jason Bateman still acts in movies.
Yes, and he's in successful movies.
That's
And
it.
yeah, because my
Okay.
mindset is, well, if he wanted to give up acting or stop most of his acting so
Does
he
he
could tend
still
to
act?
like his ranch and his farm,
Does he still act?
I don't know. I don't
Okay.
think he's done anything in a while. There was a video, he was at like Costco or somewhere, and they were trying to get him to wear a mask. And he was like, no. And he didn't want to put on a mask. And so everyone shamed him.
Shamed him?
Yeah. Again, it's that cancel culture. So it's these kind of people who want to like just put this guy down because they don't agree with his political views. But to say he's not successful because he's not in movies anymore, I guess what's wrong? Maybe if somebody decides that they don't want to be an actor anymore. Now all the acting bullshit aside and how it's probably all set up to pit people against each other. But just the mindset of the people responding and tweeting about it to say like he's not successful because he's farming. I would think like, man, if you're farming, like that's successful, like that's huge. I think that's more work than acting,
I
being a farmer.
I think that in my view, people's perception of what success is so
Skewed.
flawed and skewed and upside down
Mm-hmm.
from what it used to be. And but that's it. But that see, this is why I don't go on social media, because it's mindless. It's like this is what people are complaining about and debating about and
I
whatever.
look at it, I roll my eyes, and I go away.
This is why I don't want to get on a soapbox, but this is why we're in the position we're in
Mhm.
as a society, as a country, as people, because this is the stuff we argue about
But
and
it
we
just shows
debate.
how
Like, who
petty people
cares?
are. So if somebody wants to leave acting and become a farmer, that's not successful, even if they do well with their farm. Like they're no longer considered successful. It was just so petty. And I'm like, is that really what people think? That somebody becoming a farmer is now a failure because they're not acting anymore? Or I mean, I feel like we got to find something to pick on the guy for, so let's do this.
I don't really have anything to add. I don't, because honestly, because I don't care enough. I like this stuff. You tell me this stuff, I'm like, okay, big deal. I don't. I said on this show a long time ago, if everybody cared about what was going on in their own home and in their own yard,
Mhm.
we'd be a lot better off. And I'm a firm believer that in order to change anything, you have to become the change that you want to see. So I started doing that. I don't care what other people are doing. I just don't care. It
I don't
doesn't really
care
bother me.
either. It
It
doesn't
doesn't
bother me, but it makes me
it doesn't
aware that
really
people think like that. And it reminds me, don't get so petty to think like that. I try to take it as a
okay.
reminder.
Sure, that's
Like,
fine.
man,
I went
I
the other
see
way.
what that is.
I went
Makes
the
yeah.
yeah, I went the complete other way. Now I just don't care.
I know.
I
I
don't want to
really don't
know.
care either at the end of the day, but it's something to bring up a discussion about.
Well, but that's just it. What is success? Like, how do you measure it?
Exactly.
How do you measure it?
And just because you might look at somebody and judge them as unsuccessful, but if you are doing something and you feel successful with what you're doing, isn't that what matters?
Again, though, what is the measure of success? I mean, geez, this could have been a show if we wanted to just talk about what is success, because it's such a subjective thing. I don't know if you would consider me a success. I would consider myself a success. You want to know why? Because I married a phenomenal woman. I have 3 amazing children who I get to spend virtually all of my time with, who I get to raise, who I get to educate and teach about the world and teach about things, who I get to see the miracle of every single one of their milestone moments. I get to be here for them. I get to help to mold and shape them. I get to calm them down when they're upset. I get to experience their joy and laughter, and I get to see when they have those aha moments when they learn something. And I'm happy. I'm always happy. I'm very rarely do I get irritable or in a bad mood. And if I am irritable or in a bad mood, it's because I didn't get enough sleep the night before for whatever reason. Am I a millionaire? No, I've never been. Do I give a damn about any of that stuff? No, I really don't. So personally, I feel like I'm a success. But somebody may look at me and sit me next to my brother, for example, who makes a lot of money, is also married and has children and has a nice home and everything. And they might say, look, put the two of us side by side and go, oh, he's successful, he's not, pointing to me as the not. But I've never been happier in my life. I've never felt more fulfilled. I wake up every morning glad that I'm awake, glad that I'm alive. I don't have an alarm clock. I wake up when I wake up, which is usually around the same time every day, and I'm ready to attack the day and I feel great. And I go to bed same time every night. I kiss my kids goodnight and I feel great. I feel like I had a great day every night. But when I go to bed, I tell my kids I love them and how proud of them I am for the day that they had, for the effort that they put in. And it's a great day. I feel like I'm successful.
Mm-hmm.
But Joe Q Public would go, that guy sucks. That guy's a loser. He's not a millionaire. He doesn't drive a fancy car. He doesn't, whatever,
Yeah.
but I'm happy. I'm content. I feel fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my life is a success.
Well,
So
exactly.
it's all subjective,
And
but I
that's
don't
my
feel like,
point.
but I mean, I can't say that anybody's less successful because they don't do the same thing I do. I found what works for me. So I feel like to judge other people on success it just doesn't make any sense because it's so subjective.
And I mean, somebody could look successful, they could have a great job and lots of money, but they could be falling apart on the inside. So, I mean, sometimes people only show what they want others to see. So you never really know. And again, I just kind of feel like it's nobody's place to judge someone else's success because you just said it. You're successful. Other people might not look at it that way, but you do, and that's what matters at the end of the day.
You know what? You know where I know for a fact that I am successful because I could give two shits what anybody else thinks of me. That's how I know I've made it because I don't care. I don't allow it to bother me at all. That's how you know you've made it
Mm-hmm.
because other people's opinions of you don't fucking matter.
And that's
They
how I
don't
am. Like,
matter.
I was so fortunate to be able to work on my boundaries, to not care, because being an empath, all I want to do is make people happy and I care what they thought of me. And then I worked on my boundaries and I'm at the point where I've even said on the show, I'm at honey badger status. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. And I still care about stuff, but I don't care how others are going to judge me because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I can only judge myself and by like my actions and what I do. And in terms of being successful, somebody might look at me and be like, well, she's not getting rich doing hypnotherapy, but I look at it like I'm helping people. That's successful to me. I get to help people and make a difference in their lives.
At some point, I think society will eventually go back to the way that it was before the industrial age brought about all this consumerism and everything else, which we've all seen just in our lifetime and our parents saw in their lifetimes, where it was about having a nice house and two cars and all that kind of stuff. The white picket fence. I mean, that's kind of gone, but in generations past, that's what it was, and it was always materialistic. And I mean, I know for myself, growing up, I always thought it was cool when you'd see I'd go over a friend's house who had like all the GI Joe toys. It's like, oh, wow, I want that. But then you get some of these things, and obviously this doesn't occur at the same time for everybody. But I think eventually people realize, hopefully, that you can have all these material things, and if you're not happy with the person that you are, with your actions, with your interactions with people, if you're not happy with what you're putting out into the universe, I guess, or life, or to your family members, your loved ones, your friends, if you're not happy with those interactions, then it doesn't matter if you have the biggest house, the most expensive furniture, the nicest car. None of that shit matters.
Okay, so I want to share something. So I remember in junior high, kids would compare like who was better by how many TVs they had and how many phones they had. Like I have 5 phones in my house. I have 7 TVs in my house. And looking back, it's like, yeah, you have all this stuff, but you're also a dick. So, mm,
You're also a dick. Uh,
seriously, it's like they were like really crappy people. They weren't nice. And that comes down to their own insecurities, but the way they treated others, like they were lesser than because they didn't have that status of so many things in their home or whatever.
I
And I feel like we are going away from that because how many people now are like, what's important? I don't want, a McMansion. I want land. I want to grow my own food. And I think we are going back to the necessities and the simplistic times of like, we can make our own clothes. We don't need 8 pairs of shoes. We don't need all this stuff. As you
we
hit your
don't need
mic.
to bash into the microphone like I just did.
But I feel like more people are coming to that realization.
It could be. It could be that maybe
Or maybe
people.
we're just more aware of it.
Yeah, I mean that could very well be. I think that there definitely is a resurgence of that kind of thing happening. Hopefully, I think that yeah, this last 2 years has kind of woken up a lot of people. I think into just how much they can't rely on others.
Mhm.
And I think, you're seeing a resurgence in people trying to grow their own food, trying to garden more, trying to figure out those kind of things. You see alternative, like, I don't know if that's the correct terminology or not, but you see people starting their own communities and starting to come together more in that way. I think that's really important. I think that that's good to do. And I think if you look at how the world is going, if you just look at history and you look at how the world is going right now, the society shapers, the movers and the shakers, those people, whatever the powers that want to be, as you like to call them, they've got an agenda and they have what they're moving their pieces in place because of where they want the world to go. And they do their test runs all the time on this stuff. And what happened in Texas, was it last year or was it 2020, where they had the power outage and this cold swell and all this stuff happened? In my opinion, in my viewpoint, call me conspiracy theorist, I don't care, I've been proven right already. This is what's going to happen. 2025, we're going to see rolling blackouts everywhere. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think the writing's on the wall. They're pretty much laying the groundwork for it now, talking about how the United States infrastructure can't handle the power output and all this stuff. They're laying the groundwork for this stuff now. This is where it's going. So now, 2022, if you're not thinking about maybe getting solar power, maybe getting a backup generator, maybe figuring out a couple of, if you live in a colder climate, some alternative ways to heat and
Mhm.
cool
And cook.
and have backup to your backup. You might be in for a rude awakening in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Well, maybe even sooner, because I really do truly think that that's where everything's going. And I mentioned this to you the other day, raising our kids and educating our kids in the ways that we were educated is not the way to go anymore.
Mm-mm.
Now you have to be more forward thinking and try to see where's stuff going, have an idea of where things are going, and raise your families that way
Yeah.
to be ready and prepared for that,
Mhm.
not for what happened when we were growing up or when we're, what's happening now, but for what's going to come. If you want them to be successful, that's what you got to
Like
aim for.
and growing your own food. Teach them how to
Big
plant
time.
seeds and,
Big time.
how to like all about like growing food and harvesting and planting for next year. And then storing food that you're not eating right away. Like, teach them that kind of stuff. Teach them how to work with the land, because not only is it beneficial just because of having your own food, but it's also really good. You're working with the earth, you're grounding, your kids are doing that.
Sure. Yeah. There's all kinds of health benefits and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, just I really think that that's where stuff's going to head.
Mhm.
And I mean, I called everything that happened
Yeah.
when we first had
No.
a shutdown. I said, this is where it's going.
We did.
And
We
we're
called
way
it, and
past,
like way back when Sean Gorman was on, like
yeah,
a couple years ago.
we called it
We
right
called
then and
it.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
We said, this is where it's going.
Yeah.
This is what's going to happen now.
And
We let this lockdown happen these 2 weeks. We were right at the beginning of it.
yeah.
Right. I think it was like the first weekend of the first lockdown.
Right at the very beginning. Yeah.
And we both said, yep, we allowed this to happen. We're done. This is the if we don't stand up, this is what's going to happen. And every single thing we said was going to happen, like clockwork, happened.
Yes, it did.
Because if you have a shred of common sense, a shred of knowledge of history, you could tell that that's where it was going. And honestly, I think too, just what I started to try to do too was think how these people think. Obviously, I'm not these people. I was not raised like these people or educated like these people. But I think, what would I want to do if I was trying to achieve this? How would I go about it? And I try and think, okay, this is probably what they're going to do next. This is probably what they've already done. I mean, you could see all the wheels are in motion, all the chips are in place, and pretty soon they're going to pull the right pin and everything's going to crash down and everyone's going to go, it's going to be crazy and madness.
Do you have a backup plan?
Are you guys ready for that?
Where are you going to get your
right
water
around
from?
the corner?
Do you know any local springs to get your water from? Like fresh, clean water? Do you know how to collect rainwater?
Can you go more than a day without taking a shower? Pretty soon you might not have a choice.
Just rub some dirt on you, exfoliate all the other dirt
this
off.
This is where this conversation went from Ricky Schroder and Jason Bateman to this.
Farming to this, yeah.
Wow. I wasn't honestly was not prepared to talk about this kind of stuff. But again, like
this
I said,
was not part of my agenda, this conversation, but I just wanted to
yeah, but this is the kind of stuff though that we do talk about. And yeah, but again, it's cool to sit by the sidelines and be like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen next. And I see a lot of people go, it's like a movie. Life's like a movie. Can't wait to see what happens next.
We're in the movie.
That's great. But what happens when it gets really real and you're bright smack dab in the middle of the damn movie and now there's no food or
I guess,
water.
are you going to be the action hero?
What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like I said, I'd rather just not participate. I'd rather just not participate at all and just be not reliant on any system, on any person, any government, anybody to take care of me or my family. I'd rather just be self-sufficient because that's who's going to fuck with you if you're self-sufficient, really. And self-sufficient just means, can you give yourself shelter? Can you feed yourself? That's really it. That's all you need, because other than
shelter, warmth.
Other than that, what do you need? What do you need? What, every channel on TV, like, the latest Netflix special to binge on? What do you need? You don't need any of that. So, I mean, for example, just today, we went and we visited your parents. Hello to them, by the way. We know that they like to watch and listen. And we spent the day literally looking out the window and watching birds and chipmunks and squirrels and woodpeckers and stuff like that. We spent the day doing that and went outside and took the kids sledding. And it was we didn't turn on any TV. I didn't go on the internet or anything. We didn't go to social media, nothing. We just sat, we talked, we enjoyed each other's company. We ate some good food. And that's what we did. And it was fantastic.
And that's the kind
and that's like
of
what
life,
we do every day.
Yeah. And that's the kind of life I want to live, because we call looking out the window, we call it the nature channel. So we're watching TV, but it's just, we're looking out a window at nature, because that's entertainment to us, because it's real. It's happening. It's fun.
It's relaxing.
Watching
it's
all
fun.
the animals. Sure. Yeah.
It's really cool to watch and see how the animals interact with each other.
Yeah. How they help each other.
How they
and
fight over
sometimes eat
food.
each other.
Sometimes they eat each other. Yeah, hey, that's nature.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
nature.
It is.
So,
But it's relaxing and it's calm, but it's also hard work, like working in the garden and everything. It's hard work.
but it's rewarding, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
The fruits of your labor, right?
Yes.
I
Oh
think, I think
man.
isn't that where that came from? Is that
Yeah.
where they came from? The
Yeah. Because doing that work, like setting up that garden, oh,
yeah,
that was,
it's tough, sure,
yeah.
but hey,
It's
that's
worth it though. It's so worth it
yeah,
because that short period of time of doing that really labor intensive work is beyond worth
pays dividends.
the seasons of growing
Yeah.
food for yourself and your family. And it's awesome.
Want to switch gears and talk about something else now? Since we've probably run off a lot of people who are like, these, oh, they want us to be responsible. And
I do just want to say, because I thought this was awesome. So I'm growing I sowing my seeds for the season's garden. And it was just really exciting because I start with an indoor garden. And I've talked about on the show, like I talk to my plants. So I do my seedlings and I get them all ready and I talk to them and I give
she
them
sings to them
Reiki.
too.
I do, I sing to them. And after 2 days, they
Yes.
started to sprout. I
Yeah.
mean, some of these plants, it can take weeks. In 2 days, they were sprouting.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And yeah, and then like, so it's been a week now, like tomorrow, it's been like a full cycle after today. And they're sprouting. And I'm just so excited.
It's yeah, it was pretty cool to watch because I remember when you first got everything, you planted everything, you said, yeah, these will take a couple weeks, these should take a few weeks. You were kind of pointing out everything.
I make a
And then
spreadsheet.
yeah, and then you come over and you tell me it's been 2 days and they're sprouting. I'm like, what? Already? Because I hear you down there talk to them, you sing to them and stuff. And I know I'm sure when I go and I play my drums, they're like, oh damn it, what are we coming into this world for? What's that racket? But yeah, it's pretty cool to see for sure.
I was just really excited about that. So I just
Yeah,
wanted to share.
yeah, definitely cool. So we to change gears now. We've been watching some interesting programming, television
After we just
shows.
said don't watch TV, we're going to
Well,
talk about something we've been watching on
well,
TV.
you had mentioned to me that you wanted to bring some of this
Well,
stuff up.
because you
So
brought something
I,
up,
what did I bring up?
because I brought up farming, and then you
Yeah.
brought up, you told me somebody else who has a farm.
Who did I bring up that has a farm? I'm trying to remember now. Are you just since we started recording?
Today.
Are you talking about earlier today?
Yeah.
Okay. I was confused there. Oh, his name.
Can you smell?
Yeah. The Rock. I think who else has a farm? Was it Lorenzo Lamas? I thought had like a big farm and worked on a farm. There was somebody else who. There's a couple of what's his name now? It's escaping me. He's gosh, I think he was like a soap opera star, but he's like a big name. I forget it. It's gonna come to me. I know it. Sabato.
Antonio
Sabato
Jr.
Jr. Yes, thank you. Him. He's another one. He has like a big farm or whatever that he and his wife and family work on and do.
That's
From what I
awesome.
understand, this is years ago that I so this may not be the case anymore, but yeah, and I always thought that was really cool seeing that because these are people who are celebrities and whatever, and they don't need to be doing this kind of stuff. But I remember I can't remember the show or magazine or wherever I saw it, but I remember reading this interview. So I think it was a magazine. So I remember reading and him just talking about how humbling it is and how rewarding and fulfilling it is for him to go out and tend to his own animals and crops and things like that and like
Yeah.
actually work his land. And I thought that was just really cool because
That
like
is
this guy
cool.
doesn't have to do that. But
you had mentioned The Rock has a farm, and then
from what I understand, yeah, The Rock has one. I think it's in Pennsylvania, I believe. I
no
think
clue.
if he still does, he may not anymore, but as of a few years ago, I'm pretty sure he did.
But then we brought up another wrestler who became an actor, and we've been watching his show. So John Cena has been in Peacemaker
Yeah,
on HBO Max.
HBO Max, I believe, is the only place you can see it.
And it's actually really good.
It is. It's entertaining.
It is
Very
entertaining. It's really
entertaining.
funny. It has action and comedy. And I was really surprised by John Cena's range because he's been in stuff and he's funny.
Yeah.
But throughout this show, he does a great job. He's very funny and he's entertaining, but he also like he has to be dramatic and he has to get upset and be sad. And I was like watching it, like, can he pull this off? Is he gonna look silly? Like, how is it gonna come through? But it actually wasn't bad.
I'm very impressed by it, but it doesn't surprise me at all knowing the kind of work ethic that guy has, and just knowing the type of person that I mean, I have had very brief interactions with him many years ago, but just hearing the stories of his work ethic and that kind of thing, it doesn't surprise me at all that he is able to do what he does, because if the guy couldn't do it naturally, he went out, got probably the best acting coach, and worked his ass off to get to be able to do the stuff that he does on that show. And in any movie, I don't see a lot of his movies or anything, but just on that show, it's very out, like just like you, I was very impressed by the range and stuff of the things that he does on there.
Yeah, like I really like he does a great job with the
Yeah.
character and it's very entertaining. So I actually really like that show.
Yeah. I don't know anything about that particular character aside from
What
the
we've
Suicide
seen.
Squad movie
Yeah.
in that show.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's true to the comic books or
Don't know.
I really don't know.
It's like one of the few shows that we have been watching because for the most part we stick at like pre-2000s TV and movies.
Well, except for The Office.
Except for The Office.
That's post 2000.
And Psych and Supernatural.
But yeah, but those are like the only.
But that's what I'm
That's
saying.
like, but that's
Like
like
the
it.
majority of stuff that we
we
watch.
don't watch anything new. Anything we watch, we've probably seen
We go to like our VHS
dozens of
and
times
DVD
before.
collection.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't really. Yeah. So, and it's fine. It's usually just in the evening, just to wind down and get ready for bed, kind of thing. So.
But yeah, it was a really good show. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very interesting, very entertaining, and it's still. I think it's got, as of this recording, it's got one more episode because they're doing like a staggered release kind of deal. Yeah.
Let us know if you've seen it and what you think of it.
Yeah. Good show,
I'm
entertaining. But yeah, like I said, I don't know anything about that character at all. So.
But I don't know anything about the character other than what John Cena and James Gunn and all of them have brought forward to us that they want us to see. But like I said, very entertaining.
Yeah. Now, what about movies that we've seen recently? We saw the Rock was in it.
Central Intelligence.
Yeah, we watched that just the other night. That was funny. It was ridiculous, kind of funny. Yeah. With
Red Notice.
Red Notice is the movie I say, with Ryan Reynolds. I'm trying to think of the guy. I was gonna say with Deadpool, like that guy. And that was pretty good. And the gal, how do you say her last name? The actress plays Wonder Woman.
I can't even think of her name.
Gadot.
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot. Is that how you say it? I don't know how you pronounce it, but she was in it as well, and that was a fun movie. It was entertaining. So yeah, that's it for movies, I think, that we've seen that are worth talking about or mentioning. Yeah. What about podcasts? You listen to any good podcasts lately?
Yes. Well,
here we are on a podcast, and we're going to put over other people's podcasts.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't you?
Well, my friend Karen Rontesky, Paranormal Karen. I'm not going to lie, I like listening.
I wasn't asking you to lie. Why would you say I'm not going to lie? Well, nobody's asking.
I'm not going to pretend that
Okay.
I don't know.
I started listening to a couple of different podcasts, some new ones, and honestly, I brought it up, and I can't honestly don't know the names of them, because I looked up a topic that we were going to talk about on this show that I decided against because it's just too complex.
Did you want to talk about what you were going to talk about? Do you want to get into it?
Okay. I don't want to get into it because it's too, well, all right, fine.
Just get the cliff notes.
The Danny Castellero murder.
Okay.
That's what I was going to, he was a journalist, aspiring journalist in the early 90s who slashed his wrists allegedly 16 times, and so deep it was like to the bone, and it was ruled a suicide. Obviously, it was not a suicide, but it was ruled a suicide by the authorities. And he was investigating something that he dubbed the octopus, which has become kind of a thing in conspiracy culture, I guess you could call it, or vernacular. The octopus of global control essentially is what it morphed into. But he was investigating this thing, and it brought death to him, obviously. But it was he was investigating the theft of Promise software, which, to my knowledge, how I understood from stuff that I've been reading about and listening to, it collects uh, banking information, and it doesn't matter what language it's in, what format it's in, but it will collect like bank account information, and you can alter the banking information. So, for example, you a bank in Kuwait is using this software, and you have a copy of this software. You can go tap into the Kuwaiti bank's uh, bank account, whatever, and you can remove all their funds, and it's untraceable. I left out a part. Okay, so the software was stolen. It was made by the Inslaw company. I forget the gentleman who created the software, but his company was called Inslaw, Inslaw, and his software was stolen by somebody who worked for the Department of Justice. This person rewrote and put a backdoor into the code and into the software. This person from the Department of Justice allegedly, or has been proven to put a backdoor into this software and then took it and sold it to different countries, not telling them that there was a backdoor into it. And so then coming back to, with the backdoor, now the way the code was written, the way the software was written, with this backdoor, the United States intelligence agencies, I would assume is who used it, could go into any country's accounts, into any of their citizens' accounts, whoever, and they could alter their financial statements, withdraw money, put money in, whatever, and it's untraceable, completely untraceable. So essentially, you could bankrupt somebody, you could frame somebody by putting money into their account, and it's untraceable, and it looks like they did something that they shouldn't have done when really they didn't, but they're an enemy of the state. So it was found out and whatever, and I was gonna talk about it, but it's just so involved, and I'm not doing it any justice by even mentioning it here, because there's so much to this story. And so I decided against it, because I'm listening to one podcast, for example, was over 5 hours long, and that was part one. And I went, okay, like, if we're going to talk about something, we don't get into super crazy details here on our show, because we try to keep we try to give enough information so that you at least know what's going on, and then
then you can look it up.
You can look it up.
Do your own research.
Yeah, you can look into it yourself if you want to get more deep into it and go down the rabbit hole deeper into whatever topic we're discussing. But with this one, it's like it's all a bunch of people that are involved in to talk about who's involved. You have to give the background of that person and what they did and what they went on to do. And it's insane. But it goes all the way to as high as you can imagine. And it's pretty intense.
So that's what you were listening to podcasts
I was listening to podcasts for that. So what I did was I'd go into like the search on the Apple, is it Apple podcast? Yeah, Apple Podcasts. And I'd type in Data Casolero or Promise, and whatever would pop up, I'd go, okay, this did a show, this show, and I'd listen. And then from there, that's usually typically a lot. People will put stuff in their show notes, and I'll look at the show notes and get links to articles or books or anything like that. I have a book that I got for the express purpose of researching this, and it's just all over the place because there's so much, and I didn't realize how involved it was. So when I saw it, I went, there's no way I'm not gonna be able to do this justice.
So what podcast did you want to put over?
Oh, I was just asking if you had been listening to any. Oh, but for me, that's what I've been listening to, is those. But I can't remember the names of any of them. That's the thing. So I feel kind of weird now that I even said anything. What a dolt.
I'm like, did I say something about a specific podcast?
No. Oh, okay. The other I will put over the Penny Royal podcast. That podcast is awesome. that's a guy I want to talk to. We got to figure out how to reach out to Nathan Isaac and talk to him about the Penny Royal podcast, because that is a fantastic. It's anybody that's been listening or watching us for a while knows that we watched that show Hellier,
Mhm.
and I don't know if it's still available on Amazon Prime or not, but if you haven't seen it, check that show out because it's awesome. But the second season of that show takes place in Somerset, Kentucky. And there's a couple episodes devoted to just all the crazy stuff that happens in Somerset, Kentucky. And so Nathan Isaac was on that show, and then he started his own podcast talking about all the different things that are happening around or have happened around Somerset, Kentucky. And it's just nuts. The weird stuff that goes on there. It's just insane.
I want to go.
So yeah, I don't know if I'd want. I don't know if I'd want to go there or not. To be honest,
I
with you.
do.
It's
I just want
there's
to like
just a
find
lot
some
of just
quartz and like go digging and be like,
crazy
"For
stuff going
me."
on there. Yeah. So, but that's definitely if you're into paranormal kind of stuff or just interesting,
Mhm.
that the Penny Royal podcast is one to check out. They're in the middle of their second season now. That comes out in seasons. So I think the first season had 8 episodes, and I don't know how many are going to be in this one, but it's really good. Really, really good.
It makes me wonder, should we have done seasons and give ourselves a break? Because we're going to be doing this for 3 years.
Are we really coming up on
Yeah.
3? Wow.
Yeah. In April, it's going to be 3 years. We started in 2019.
No, we're podcast iron champions. We're Iron Men and Women champions. We're Iron Men, Iron people.
Well,
We're just gonna keep going. We're gonna keep a streak going. No days off. No weeks off. What's that? We're here every week, damn
we
it.
are. Well, that's something else when you brought up being successful. Like one of my thoughts is like, we've been doing the show for almost 3 years every week. We haven't missed a
Right.
week, knock on wood.
Correct.
So yeah, I'm like, to me, that's successful because
High five.
yeah, because when we started, I was like, how are we going to be able to find enough stuff to talk about? And we do.
Yes.
And some days we have episodes like this. So
geez, we're gone almost an hour just
yeah.
talking about just.
But that's like where some great stuff comes out
Yeah,
when we
sure.
do that. We've had like cool thoughts come out, and it's fun for us and hopefully you guys, and
Yeah.
we enjoy it.
We went from arguing, well, me creating and fabricating arguments in our early episodes
For the
to try
wrestling
to
gimmick.
try to be interesting and entertaining to
Where
now
people
just,
hated you.
oh yeah, but I you know me, I don't care
I
about that. I
know,
loved that
I
when I was
know.
I loved that when I was in wrestling.
It was
But
our gimmick.
yeah, but now it's just we chat. Now you tell me to shut up, and I'm like, okay, I'll mute myself. Sorry.
Well, sometimes I'm trying to spit out what I want to say. I'm not always articulate as you, and I
I'm
have a
not
difficult time forming what I want to say and being able to get it out. And when you constantly like interrupt me, even though you're just trying to add to the conversation, I can't get it out. And then I miss my point and I don't get my point across.
This is what people listen to the show for, to hear you talking about how difficult I am to work with.
No, it's just
It's hey, that's fine. I'm an artist, damn it. I'm demanding.
you be you, baby. You be you.
Anybody listening, I'm totally being
We're kidding.
sarcastic.
We're having fun.
We're
And anytime I put
around.
him in his place, I'm not being bitchy.
Put me
I'm
in
like
my
thinking about it. I'm
place.
like, people are going to listen to this show and be like, wow, that Monique is such a twat. Like, she just told him to shut the fuck up.
And he just took it, that pansy. If you
So
want,
beta.
yeah, right. Yeah, that's me.
We're joking.
Right on. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Bullshit.
Anywho,
Bullshit. But anyway, yeah. So that's that. All right. Well, thanks for putting me in my place this week. Thanks
I
for
do
my
it with love.
Thank you for my crooked.
Because I wasn't straight
Braid,
ahead.
beard
I'm
braid.
leaning over trying to braid it.
You don't have to explain it. You just don't know how to braid. That's cool. I don't either, so it's fine.
I know how to braid.
No, you obviously not.
Oh my
Look at this
gosh.
thing. It's crooked. It's like off to this. Is this my left, my right?
Maybe it's your beard that's crooked.
Could very well be. That's what she said. It could very well be just that.
Eee.
That the beard is crooked. Yeah. Right on.
Yikes.
So,
wow.
You got anything else you want to talk about, my lady?
I don't know.
Any other things you'd like to mention, bring up, pontificate about?
I'm excited about all my seeds.
We
my
already
seeds.
talked about that.
I know.
Anything
I'm just
new?
excited. I don't know. I don't know anymore. Every day it's just it is what it is.
Do you hear that music?
I do. It's time for me to stop talking.
I'm just gonna wrap you up.
Okay.
I'm gonna wrap it up now.
You asked me a question, and then as I start to talk, you turn on the music
because
to
you're
tell me to shut
talking
up.
about stuff that we already talked about.
Oh my gosh, I was just saying I'm excited. I'm reiterating. I apologize.
So if there's anything else,
Okay.
you're bringing up stuff that we already talked about.
Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry.
All right, then.
Bless all of you for sticking it through.
Thank you very much for hanging out with us
you.
this entire time as we were just kind of having fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully you did too. And as always, thank you guys for listening, for watching. We really, really do appreciate you spending time with us. Hopefully stuff we say resonates, or if nothing else, makes you think a little. And that's all that I ever want, is just for people to think. Just think. Don't think like me. I don't want that. Just think for yourself. Think for yourself. Until next time, thank you again. I am the Golden Greek, Alex Arion, joined as always by my beautiful, lovely, gorgeous, someday she'll braid my beard correctly. This is the first time you've ever done it too. Never done anything with this. So thank you very much for that. Truly, I appreciate the effort. My gorgeous, beautiful, lovely wife, Monique.
And you've been listening to the Homewrecker podcast.
Yeah, you have.
You're weird. I love you.
Just saying weird.
Yes.
That's messed up, man. How dare you?
I say it with love.
Unbelievable. We love hearing from and interacting with our hearers and watchers. Feel free to reach out to us on Twitter
at Homewrecker Pod.
You can also visit our website,
homewreckerpodcast.com,
where you can check out past episodes and pick up some Homewrecker Podcast gear from our online store.
Also, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe or follow button wherever you're hearing or watching our show. That way you can be notified whenever a new episode drops. We're on all major podcasting platforms, and you can check out the video versions of our show at YouTube and Brighteon.
You can also find Monique in a few places online as well.
I'm on Twitter @_Monique Giselle_. If you're interested in a tarot reading, organite, incense, candles, and other cool things, you can go to my website, tarotbymonique.com. Or if you're interested in hypnotherapy, you can go to innerstandingshypnosis.com to schedule a free 20-minute consult. And follow me on Twitter @MoniquePCHT. And Alex, how can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter @TheAlexArion, and you can check out my website, AlexArionFitness.com.
And if that's too much to remember, we get it. That's why we put it all in our show notes.
Thanks for spending your time with us, and we appreciate all of your support.
We do. Thank you. We love you.